Hey guys, what's up? It's Dragoon here. It is currently the tail end of my lunch break, so I figured I would be able to get a quick video in to talk about my thoughts on The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I know it's been a little while since E3, so people have had a lot of time to discuss, a lot of time to think about the game, and so I kind of wanted to just delve into just a little bit of what I am looking forward to about the game and what kind of my overall impressions were for the E3 trailer. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have watched it. I remember exactly where I was when the trailer itself first came out. I was actually working and I took the chance to go ahead and go watch it real fast. So I was definitely really excited, and as soon as I heard presumably Zelda to be speaking at the very beginning, I knew this trailer was going to be something. Something special, something great, something bad, who knows, but it continued on, and my overall impressions with the trailer are that it is going to be fantastic. I only watched a little bit of the E3 demo gameplay, didn't really stick around too much for that, mostly because I think a lot of people's experiences will vary with a game like Breath of the Wild, and also because I just typically don't really like to get too deep into gameplay, into trailers, and that sort of thing for entertainment. I like to keep as much of everything as fresh as possible for whenever I finally get the chance to play the game or to see a movie, what have you. So let's talk Breath of the Wild. The graphics, because we already talked about the voice acting, which is such an important update for the game. I'll get back to the graphics, I guess, in just a sec. The voice acting is very important, in my opinion. We've gotten to the point in video games where if you don't have voice acting, for some games it works perfectly fine. With Zelda, which is a series that has moved forward over the past 20-ish years, it's evolved to the point where Zelda tries to tell a story now. Whether or not it is successful in doing so is up to you, but Zelda really does try to tell a story with each individual game. And in modern times, telling a serious story and watching the characters' mouths move with no audible dialogue is just very disconnecting, if you ask me. And I know there are a number of people who will agree with me on that fact, and a number of people that will disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. I think Nintendo found a happy medium in the voice acting, in the sense that Link will remain silent, but other characters will speak. And once again, that's just going to be something we have to wait and see more of, just to see how they're going to go with that. I am perfectly fine with Link not speaking. That's 100% fine with me. I just would like the other characters to become vocal. I just really think that is important at the end of the day. Also, with that being said, it begs the question of, will you be able to name your character this time around? I'm beginning to think no, because in the trailer, it's very clear the individual speaking is referring to the main character, Link, of the game. And so they cannot put in your custom name, your custom character name, into the dialogue. That would require just way too much recording and way too much money on Nintendo's part, and they're already paying hundreds of people to work on this game. I don't think they want to pay anymore. So I'm assuming this will be the first game in which you will no longer be able to name Link. If I'm wrong, then hey, I'm wrong. Maybe they just remove any use of Link in the dialogue. I don't know what they would do, but it's entirely possible. We'll just have to wait and see. That's pretty much all I have to say about the voice acting. I just hope it's done well. Kid Icarus Uprising had really good voice acting, if you ask me, but then there are other games where the voice acting is just not so good, so we'll just have to wait and see, and hope Nintendo delivers on that regard. Now back to the graphics real fast. The graphics look really nice, if you ask me. Skyward Sword tried to find a medium between Twilight Princess's more realistic art style and Wind Waker's cartoony art style. I don't think it really succeeded all that well, but I feel like Breath of the Wild does a much better job in doing so. I think Breath of the Wild really captures that really well combined feel of those two distinct art styles, and it seems like the cel-shaded look is something Nintendo is just going to kind of continue to use over the course of the years. I mean, we got it essentially in Skyward Sword, we got it in Wind Waker, we got it in a lot of Nintendo's handheld games. It just looks like something they're going to continue to use, especially if they're going to continue to use somewhat less powerful hardware. It's much less taxing on the hardware. So, and I'm okay with that. Wind Waker is one of my favorite Zelda games, if not my favorite. and I love the art style in that game. I love the graphics. When I was a kid, the cel-shaded graphics impressed me to no end. Like, I was like, wow, it's like I'm playing a cartoon. I thought it was so incredible. I think the graphics will look nice. As far as the performance of the game on the Wii U, it's still going to be a little bit unsure because they do have some time to polish the game still. I know Nintendo, I guess, has a bit of a rep for finishing things early, for lack of a better term, in the sense that they don't really go back and adjust too much once it reaches a certain point in development. So I'm hoping that they can go in and just kind of fine-tune little bits and pieces of the game. The game does run at, for the most part, 30 frames per second, though there are some dips, and I'd like to see Nintendo really hit a minimum of 30, a consistent 30 across the board for a game like this. It's highly probable that NX will be 60 frames per second, or at least a stable 30 and a higher resolution, because the game, as far as we know, runs at 30 with dips at 720p on the Wii U. But like I said, I'm really hoping that they are able to improve upon that for the Wii U release. Not much is known about the NX release, though Nintendo claims that they will do little to change much. It'll just probably have better performance, and I guess at the end of the day that is okay. I'd still prefer the game to come out on Wii U earlier than NX. If they really have to delay it to improve the game, fine. But if they're delaying it so that it'll be a launch title, that's just, in my opinion, a little unfair to Wii U owners. I think if they wanted to make both parties happy, their best bet would be release it on Wii U this holiday and then NX a few months later. I think that'd be a decent incentive, but hey, I'm not Nintendo, and we all know how unorthodox their decision-making can be at times. And the last main thing I wanted to talk about, we're not even going to get too deep into the gameplay with this one, because I don't want to make this video too long. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the amiibo. There are 3 different amiibo for Breath of the Wild that will be coming out. I will likely pick up all 3 because I really would like the 2 Link figures, and I'll just get the crab because if I already have the first 3, I might as well get the last one. And not to mention the fact that Nintendo will probably release it in a 3-pack anyway, so I'm sure it shouldn't be too difficult, hopefully, to get your hands on the amiibo for Breath of the Wild. And then, as you know, the Wolf Link amiibo will be compatible with the game, and you can use them as a companion, which is pretty neat, and I am definitely looking forward to trying that out for sure in the future. So people are saying that having Wolf Link in Breath of the Wild is like a time paradox because you're getting Wolf Link from Twilight Princess in this game, and I think you're reading a little too much into it. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I like to think that it is just the spirit of Wolf Link appearing in the game. After all, in Hyrule Warriors, which I know is not quote-unquote canon for Zelda's timeline, Midna, if you select her as a playable character, rides a spirit of Wolf Link. So I like to think this is a similar deal, so that's kind of my reasoning for it. So if you want to hear more on Breath of the Wild, more opinions, I would be happy to make another video on it. I might end up doing so, we'll just have to see how things play out. Because as far as videos that are coming up, I do have 2 in the works as of right now. Tomorrow, Fairy Tail Ice Trail Volume 2 is released, so as soon as I get the chance, I will read it, and I'll do a review on it as a follow-up for the first volume review. If you haven't watched that video, I will put a link to it in the description below. And then as soon as I'm able to finish Mighty Number 9, Hero Games and I are going to be doing a video on that. So those are 2 videos that are upcoming, and hopefully we'll be able to get those done as soon as possible. Though my finishing of Mighty Number 9, my completion, who knows how long that's going to take, just because of work and life and all sorts of things that do get in the way. But I'm hoping to finish that game this week, so he and I could potentially record the video next week. So we'll just have to wait and see. So with that being said, what are your opinions on Breath of the Wild? If you have things you'd like to talk about that I did not mention here, please leave a comment down below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please drop a like, as it does help out tremendously. So with that, I will catch you guys next time.